Don't you notice how I get quiet when there's no one else around? Me and you and awkward silence. Don't you dare look at me that way. I don't need reminders of how you don't feel the same. Oh, the burning pain. Listening to you harp on about some new soulmate. She's so perfect, blah, blah, blah. Oh, how I wish you'd wake up one day. Run to me, confess your love. At least just let me say that when I talk to you, oh, Cupid walks right through and shoots right out through my heart. And I sound like a loon, but don't you feel it to confess I loved you from the start? What's a girl to do? Lying on my bed staring into the blue. Unrequited, terrifying. Love is driving me a bit insane. Have to get this off my chest. I'm telling you today that when I talk to you, won't you walks right through and shoots right out through my heart. And I sound like a loon, but don't you feel it to confess I loved you from the start? Confess I loved you, just thinking of you. You know I've loved you from the start.
Hello, 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 y'all. Welcome. Welcome. It's exciting to see you all here this morning.
Start.
We have TTS on. Good morning from North America. Woot woot, another North American. Hello, hello.
Tangent alert! Tangent alert!
That was what I was working on before stream. It works. That and frantically trying to make sure that the Raspberry Pi, I could connect to
Yay.
it via SSH, which was very easy, except for the fact that my Wi-Fi network changed because I moved, and apparently
Hello, y'all.
Hello. My big cool gamer keyboard requires too much voltage to connect to the Raspberry Pi hardwired. So yeah, that was an interesting question of like, ooh, how do I actually control this if I don't have any way to actually connect to it? And I ended up needing to completely like flash a new instance of Raspbian. But everything's set up for our stream today, where we're going to be running Docker on a DIY server, in my case, a Raspberry Pi, but it could really be any Linux machine. Hello. Looks like we have a nice, cozy crowd today. I caught that one. See, the key is that I see that notification come through that it was redeemed before the sound effect plays. If it's just this screen and I'm just interacting with chat, it's not a good time to metal pipe. It's a good time to use any of the other ones, but a metal pipe won't get me. The music seems a little bit loud to me. I realized it was like too quiet before. Too quiet, but also love your coat / jacket. Thank you. It is from Old Navy, which is a very basic clothing brand. So nothing fancy. I'm assuming that Old Navy is very international, but I don't know. So yeah. Hello, y'all. For those of you who haven't been to one of my streams before, I'm Dimmer. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a coach at Major League Hacking, and I have been for 2 years and 353 days. My 3-year anniversary is coming up in 12 days.
Hello, y'all.
Hello. Old Navy, Young Gravy. I mean, Young Gravy is a great musical artist. I do listen to Young Gravy on occasion, but I don't understand for how you made that connection. Could you advise on balancing a career as a site reliability engineer working on the latest tech while sticking to a 40-hour week? I don't know how to. I'm sorry. I am not the person to talk to about that.
I don't understand it either.
There are plenty of people who might have more feedback on that, but I am still in the point of my career where I am like working 3 part-time jobs and being a student. So if you want to talk about balancing that, I can do that. But being like in the workforce, working like a 40-hour week, that is not something I have any experience with. Vidip, what are these sounds for? It's amazing. So these sounds are a thing that are only on for my stream. But if you go down to the lower left-hand corner of Twitch chat, I can actually, let me share what this looks like. Sharing my screen. Okay, so this is what stream looks like. Oh my goodness, we're gonna get the everything. Hey Circuit, welcome. And you click on this button right here. You will see a list of 9 different things that you can redeem. And each of these is one of those sound effects. So they are things that people in chat are redeeming. Hey, and look at that, captions are working. Great. That was a thing that has been on and off. Your boy Styles, thanks for the follow. 404 is a metal pipe fanatic. Oof indeed. Please talk about it. Okay, that's referring to balancing everything. I'm not the best at it, I'll be honest. Advice on finding summer internships. Is it too late? No, it is not at all too late. The people who... I guess the way that I think about this sort of search is like twofold. Summer internships, if you're looking to be at like one of the big tech companies or something like that, they like start... You apply in the fall the year before. But for local companies, small tech companies, even some of those big tech companies, if they haven't filled spots, things like that, that is when you can find summer internships. The MLH Fellowship is currently looking at applications for all their summer programs. Google Summer of Code, I believe. Wait, when is Google Summer of Code? Yeah, Google Summer of Code projects are announced May 1st. So Google Summer of Code hasn't even started yet. Oh wait, yeah, Google Summer of Code is closed for season. Oh wait, am I backwards? Do you apply before the projects are released? I thought the projects got released first. Interesting. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so Google Summer of Code is closed, but the MLH Fellowship is still there. And there are plenty of other opportunities like that. Like when people talk about getting like summer tech internships, they are talking about like your Googles, your Amazons, your Facebooks, your Ubers, your whatevers. And those start hiring way, way back. But I say this with optimism because the job market is bad. And I want to make sure that I emphasize that it is hard getting jobs just across the board, any industry. But there are theoretically companies that do hire at this time. Projects are released and the deadline for contributors the 2nd of April, 2024. Okay. Scrolling back up. Just so that... I never updated the stream title. Oh, I knew I was missing something. I've just been vibing and chilling, which is one of my favorite parts of stream. But I forgot that the stream title was wrong. Because we are deploying containers to DIY servers today. So I'm gonna catch back up to chat. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So it is, someone wants me to talk about, ZS wants me to talk about, no, ZC wants me to talk about balancing everything. Metal pipe. Okay. What kind of project do I need to submit for the MLH Fellowship? I don't know exactly. This is a question that you can better ask in the MLH Discord or by poking around the Fellowship website. But the way that I think about it is a project where you show your current level of developer skill. And that is not just like with a language, but with tooling, with GitHub, with libraries, with platforms. So if you have a project where, and I'm like 99% sure you can use a hackathon project, but the key is you want to make sure that you can show what you did and that you had a large impact on this project. Because the point of that code sample, that project submission, is to show what you know and what you can do. And you don't need to be perfect because the fellowship is an educational program, but you want to show that you have like a baseline to work from that you want to learn on top of. So you want something that is like above the level of a school project or above the level of following a tutorial to show that you did something, you synthesized something. But it doesn't need to be like perfect, if that makes sense. Make sure you have like a good README and like your code is clean, add some comments, like that sort of thing. Those are like the tips that I can give you as someone who has been like adjacent to the fellowship for a while. You're very welcome. Again, double check on the fellowship website and ask more questions in the Discord. There's like a fellowship questions channel because there are people who are like on the fellowship like interview and code review team who would be able to better answer those questions. But those are the tips that I've picked up over time. I'm passionate about MLH Fellowship. It is an equitable experience, irrespective of educational background. Yeah, it's really cool because most internships only focus on college students. Giving some poetry slam snaps because as someone who is not a college student, I will be in less than a month now, but who is not a college student, I could not get any internships or jobs in the tech industry without being a college student. There were opportunities out there, but they were very few and far between. I need to make a quick change. This is what I was... There we go. Okay. Yeah, the stream title is on YouTube is Creating Beautiful Shaders. Okay, save that. Sending virtual hugs. Thank you. It is, yeah. The place that college has in the modern tech industry is, yes. I know that it is a common thing of like, you don't need to go to college to get into the tech industry. And I know that that is technically true, but it is so much harder. All right, excited for deploying containers. Me too. I'm very excited for this. So the idea for the project should be great, right? It doesn't have to be. If you have a really cool idea that you are passionate about, am I late? You are late, Mr. Clueless, by like a few minutes. We're just in the point of the stream where we're just chatting, interacting. You have not missed any of the meat and potatoes, so to speak. The idea for the project, I think, I am a big proponent for making projects that you are passionate about because it shows you are more able to do like more work and more thinking and like you create a better project because you are passionate about it. All of the projects that I make on stream generally are projects that I would want to use, and that's why a lot of them are like related to stream so that I touch them every time that I stream, and thus I put in more effort. But if you were to create like a Reddit or Twitter clone, that would not be a like end of the world thing because they're not looking for like, are you like great at coming up with startup ideas? It is a code project. So I personally believe that it is more fun and you do get a better end product if you do create something that you are passionate about. But that is not necessarily what they are looking for. Pranav, don't say that dimmer without a college degree. I can't continue my passion towards tech.
Agreed.
It is possible. It is 100% possible. And I don't want to say that it isn't. But I know that at least in the US tech industry, it is harder. Where this is where I have a little bit of like a, This is where I'm going to give a disclaimer. I am talking as a person and not representing MLH or the opinions of Major League Hacking as an organization or any of our sponsors. This is just me talking about my opinion based on my experiences. I learned everything with free resources that are present over the internet. It takes a tremendous amount of work. It is, yes, that is where I started as well. Again, I've like taken like a semester of college. All of the things that I have learned at hackathons and over the internet. Hi Shem, welcome. But also, at least within the US tech industry, it is I'm just trying to read chat. There was something, trust me, if you prove your skills, you can make it. The problem is, in my experience, that like first step. Because once you have that like first position, you can move on to the next and the next. It is getting that first position, which MLH Fellowship is a great example of an opportunity that exists that doesn't require a college degree, because those do exist. It is just fewer and farther between, especially nowadays. I know, so I was and am going to be again a student at the University of Michigan, which is I hate saying this because it's not the reason I'm going there. I'm going there because it is the best combination of good school and cheap school that I have available to me. But it is like a prestigious university in the United States. And they've started like specifically telling people that they can't get computer science degrees there, that like there's a separate application process for new students to get computer science degrees, because it's just becoming more and more common. And with all of the people with college degrees, there's less space in the end. Yeah, it's okay. Someone asked what are we going to do today? We are going to deploy a Docker container to a DIY server. We're going to get started on that soon. I just always like to start out streams interacting with people, talking, answering questions, because the beautiful thing about a live stream is that we are all here live to interact. That like this isn't a tutorial video. So we're going to take some time and then we're going to jump into that. Shem, I've heard it's really helpful to start contributing to an open source project that you like, a larger one, so that they know you and your skills are there when they're hiring. You're already on their radar. Yes, and this was a big thing like 2 months ago where, let me see if I can find, I want to cite my sources here. Theo, t3.gg, is a fairly large, yeah, like 300,000 subscribers, developer, YouTuber. And he released this video that I'm also going to drop a link to.
Open source is great, and you probably
let me share my screen. DIY is, and we're going to set up a server on the cloud, or we're going to set up the server using a local computer. We're going to start with a local computer, and then if we have time, we're going to set one up in the cloud. The reason I'm thinking about local computer is because I'm using a Raspberry Pi today because I got one from free at a hackathon, but you can use any old computer, throw a Linux distro on there, and it has some processing power for you to do tasks like this. What we're doing is just a Twitch chatbot, which takes very little processing power. So it is a good example of something that like, it requires a lot of CPU time, but not a lot of processing power. So it is expensive to run in the cloud, but cheap to run on like an old machine that you have just in the corner of your place. Is that related to the burnout of the XZ creator? No. So this is a response to Shem talking about it's useful to open source. This video is called Don't Contribute to Open Source. And again, I'm going to drop this link in chat because it changed my opinion based on what I thought about open source. And his point is, the purpose of open source is not education. And open source contributors, while they're wonderful people, and open source like leaders, I'm blanking on the term, the people who do the code reviews and do the management, they are wonderful people who are doing tons of work. they are not doing that work because they want to be mentors. They are not doing that work because they want to help new people get into the industry. And there are many of them who will, but that is not what they are signing up for. And there is this pattern that started with Hacktoberfest of new developers trying to use open source to gain their first development experience. And that puts a lot of pressure and like work onto open source contributors and maintainers that they didn't sign up for. And basically the point is, you can, in short, the advice of start an open source creates more work that overall hurts the open source community. And there are specific projects that have been used in like tutorials and things like that as examples of like, here's how to work with Git. And now they just constantly get spammed with small minor changes that are constantly being requested to be put in because people are using them as tutorials. This is a bad paraphrasing. This person has done a wonderful, beautiful job. I highly recommend you watch this video. But in essence, the purpose of what he was trying to say was, if you are a new developer, create your own projects. And if you are a new developer and you want to try open source, his first recommendations are to fork the project and try writing your own solution. And then seeing when the solution is done on the open source project, compare your results yourself. And do that for a bit to get more comfortable as a developer. And then once you feel comfortable as a developer, and once you are using open source applications, contribute to the open source applications that you are using, rather than just finding something for the sake of contributing to it. Contribute to something that you use. In my case, I have had dreams for a while of getting to a point as a developer where I could contribute to Blender, which is an open source project that I've noodled around in a bunch, and I love, and I think the project is amazing. But it has a higher level of development experience required to be able to meaningfully contribute. So I have not yet. This is all a large thing of saying open source projects can be a wonderful place to learn and to meet people and to show your developer prowess. And also, that is not guaranteed. And it is something that you need to like gauge the vibes of the project to see if they would be willing. Now I'm going to scroll through and read chat. Open source can also be a ton of free labor. I also agree with that, Shem. The advice of just like do open source is an incredibly privileged take of telling you like, just do a bunch of free labor and eventually you'll get a job. Like, that is kind of how labor markets work, especially in some industries where the norm is that you work unpaid internships in order to eventually get a job. But I think that is stupid, and you should always get paid for your labor. So again, open source is wonderful and beautiful, and everything that is done there is volunteer and free. And that is best when you use the project and you are passionate about it, when you are writing something for yourself as well as others, rather than just writing it for others. What time are we going to start? I'm going to set a timer for myself and say at 25, so I have one more minute to catch up on chat, and then we're going to start. Sorry, we got kind of sidetracked here. Hey, a bunch of people took this class by Dr. Chuck from U of M. One of the best decisions of my life. I'm glad you get to attend the same, or I'm glad you attended the same course. I mean, if not for open source, these hackathons wouldn't be interested. Yes, so hackathons are an entirely different thing, which I think Shem talked about, where using an open source project, heck yeah, do that. That's the point of open source. Creating projects at a hackathon, cool. What we're talking about is trying to contribute to a larger project, which is labor that you are asking of other people as well, people to code review and to walk you through things. And I know when I did some of my first contributions, which it wasn't Summer of Code, I'm blanking on it. It was another Google project that was like Summer of Code, but for younger students. My contributions were awful. And I needed to be walked through so much because I thought that I knew more than I did. Some companies welcome contributors. I think last Hacktoberfest project had to opt into open source. Also 100% agree with what you're saying. Yeah. I think generally it is just like...
Good job.
Thank you. This question of there is no like one right answer or like one rule, but is your contribution going to add to the project or require more time from the project? In essence, take from the project. And I know for me personally that for most of the things that I would do, I would be taking away from the project. So I don't contribute to open source right now. Okay, we've lost some people. Sorry about that. But I think it is important to talk about this stuff. Mr. Clueless, before you start, can we get a sticker drop? I do not do sticker drops. I apologize. I do not know how those work. I do not have access to those. I know that later today there will be Today in Global Hack Week, which will be in 2.5 hours. And they probably have the ability to, maybe. If not, they'll have more information about how to get stickers. I know that you can get stickers if you check into 5 events. So I am also going to drop the check-in link for y'all, so you can check in if you haven't done it already. GoDaddy code isn't working. I heard this last time, and supposedly MLH is working on it. Feel free to start a ticket in the Discord, discord.mlh.io, if you want someone from MLH who has access to talk to GoDaddy to fix that sort of thing. I'm going to drop that link in chat as well, discord.mlh.io for the Discord. That is the place where they will be able to help with that. I apologize. I know it's always hard. What is a sticker drop? I honestly don't know. I know that it is a thing that MLH has done. I believe it is giving out some stickers to people randomly in chat. And the industry flipped on its own head in the past year, so that's worth mentioning in this discussion. Shem, surprise, swag prize. Okay. Shem, I would love to hear more about what you mean by that, because I don't exactly know, but it sounds really interesting and I want to talk about it. Also, I've gone 2 minutes over my self-imposed deadline, so I am going to... We're going to keep talking about this over time, but I want to make sure I jump into it. Hi. Hello. We're deploying containers to DIY servers. So what we've already created our containerized project, which is... Oh, quick thing. Lettuce. I went to the grocery store. Oh, massive layoffs, AI rushing into the field. Short version. Yes. Yeah, the job markets are very messed up. Yeah, it sucks. Lettuce. Eventually this will be on, but I went to the grocery store yesterday and I shop at Aldi, and Aldi's produce selection is generally very good, but can also be hit or miss. And they had no lettuce in the entire store. So eventually I will have lettuce, but I do not have lettuce right now. Okay. With that, I'm going to minimize you and quit out of you. Great. Hello. Welcome to our bot that we wrote. This bot takes messages that are dropped in Twitch chat using the Twitch API. It detects if there is a link in them, and if there is, it sends that link to, I minimized this prematurely, it sends this link to this Google Sheet. And it is working, but it is only currently working running locally on my machine. And that kind of defeats the point of this, because we want this to work for all MLH streams, not just the ones that I do. So we containerized it. But the one problem is that I messed up my environment variables, so it would not actually run. It runs when I just like hit run normally. We can do that right now. You can notice it says begin receiving messages, and then if I drop discord.mlh.io, it found the link, I reveal my access tokens, and it writes it to the database, and we can see that right here. So it's working there. But this like authentication step is not working in the containerized version because my environment variables are wrong. And those are set in my Docker file. Now this is a thing where I will need to switch back to my talking head here because I can't reveal these keys. Okay, I just checked one thing. Now I can Google how to set up python.env variables Docker. Arg values, we don't want that. Set env values. Okay. So, okay, I did this. env variable name equals default value. Now I'm going to look at what I did. I missed the last session. If there was one, can I get this code so I can start following today's deployment activity? This code is practically useless to you because it requires so many API keys. So instead, let me find you. There's Docker. Docker's released their own code that you can use. Developers, documentation, guides, language specific, Python, overview, containers of Python app. Great. I'm going to drop this link as well. This is basically the guide that we followed yesterday. And in it, it contains a Flask application that you can use for testing. It's extremely simple. It is literally just hello world in Flask. But it will give you something to test and to bounce off of and to make sure things are working. So you can experiment around with Docker. That is the better solution than my code. Also because my code is kind of jank and currently slightly broken. Okay. So the one thing that was different in my Docker file is that I had a space between the name and the secret itself, the environment variable. So I'm going to try changing that and building again. Docker build. Docker was not running. Just gonna delete my old things, because I tried doing that because I've been warned by people when I was talking to them about starting with Docker that those can start taking up a lot of space, because every time you build, it creates a new image because each one's immutable. Okay, so we've built again. Now, let's try running. Okay, so it is running. Yay, that's always the first step. We say it says begin receiving messages. Now, if I drop that link to that resource, hey! I think it was just that space that I had, because that worked. Amazing. Okay, I just had a space between these two things right here because that looked better, but that messed with everything. So we have our application running in Docker, and again, my code is bad and it's telling me, hey, this is going to be deprecated. Stop it. But that is not what we were trying to fix today. Today we are just trying to host it, which it is running. And because it is running on my machine as a Docker image, we know that it'll run on a server once we get everything working with that server. Prophecy comes true. Setting up a Docker instance is super easy. It is. I just didn't have enough knowledge to show how easy it was. But that meant that I got to show y'all all of my different weird little mistakes, and we got to learn from them together. So you'll see that I have my container right here. And in this terminal right here, I have an SSH connection to my server, which is a Raspberry Pi that is in the corner. This can be any old computer that you have running Linux. Raspberry Pis used to be my go-to for this sort of thing because they were cheap, but they keep getting more and more expensive. And at this point, I'm going to say something generalized that is not entirely true. But at this point, a Raspberry Pi can get as expensive as some computer options. In terms of once you start adding a case and cooling and storage and things like that. You can set up a Raspberry Pi real cheap. And also they can be really expensive. So my general thought is if you can get an old computer of some kind, laptop, desktop, doesn't really matter, and run Linux on that, it'll have the processing power to do something like this, which is like a 70-line Python bot. Dang, chips and supply chain isn't helping with Raspberry Pi prices at the moment. Yeah, that's like the main reason why. It's just Raspberry Pis have kept getting more and more expensive and less available. Where at one point they were just like, you could get them for like $20 anywhere. And they were just like literally giving out Raspberry Pi Zeros in magazines. Like, yeah. I hope you know that I'm just goofy with most of my comments. Oh, I totally understand. I do want to say, for the new people, because there are a bunch of new people today, that like, I'm not the best technical streamer, but I do get to show y'all what my troubleshooting process actually looks like. I want to build a server for my business and deploy my app to access it across my network. Yeah, that is a perfect instance for your own personal server or cloud hosting. I would say personal server is probably better. Again, in this instance, we want this running all of the time, but it doesn't actually take much computation value or like processing power. But the issue is that in cloud services like Google Cloud Run, which we'll set up if we have time, you pay per CPU second. And if we want it to be running all the time, it's not actually doing much, but it is taking many seconds. So running it on our own computer, it won't take much electricity, it won't take much processing power, any of that stuff, it won't take much bandwidth, because it's not actually doing a whole lot, but it needs to be sitting in the background. Hence, very good to host it yourself. That is very good to host it yourself if you already have the hardware to run it on. I would not, if you are like trying to make a business like this, I would not recommend like a Raspberry Pi. Well, you could also host this on the cloud for like $5 a month, which is not a whole lot. That's very cheap for cloud hosting, but that is outside of the price range that I have to play with on these streams because I'm trying to do everything free, open source, all that jazz. Anyway, we have it running. We have an SSH connection into our Linux system that we have not set up to be a server. This is just running the desktop version of Raspberry Pi. All I did was enable SSH. I have an old PC running around, and it's a small attendance app that I'm trying to set up. Hey, that is the perfect application for something like this. Will that be able to run when other MLH streamers are streaming when you're finished with this? Yes, that is the point of this. The point of this is that this can now always be running in the background. Because that is what will make this actually useful. Sweet, yes. This is like an actually useful application. Okay, so really all that we need to do, I'm gonna double check my notes because I like went through and looked at documentation before this. Okay, so we need to install Docker through the command line. I'm actually gonna minimize out of some things so that we just have our command line here, and I'm going to make it bigger. There we go. Okay. Install Docker CLI. We're going to then host our Docker image to Docker Hub. Someone asked that before, and I thought we would use something else, Cluster Pi, but Cluster Pi seems to be deprecated. And also we aren't running a cluster. And then we're going to pull our image from Docker Hub down onto our Raspberry Pi here. And then we're going to learn how to check if our Docker image is running through Docker CLI. And then the one thing that I didn't put in my notes, but I realized we'll have to do, I have not lost power in a long time, but we will want to make sure that on reboot, our Docker images automatically spin up. And then if time, we're going to set it up through Google Cloud Run and run it for a bit to show that we can, because we have a certain amount of CPU seconds. I think it's like 180,000. Would you recommend cloning the repo to the Pi or using the Docker? So the point of this is that we get to use the Docker, where we don't even need to deal with cloning the repo to the Pi, because we already have our Docker image, which contains our configuration and contains our dependencies and contains our environment variables and all of these things. What does the application do, by the way? So this is the application that we wrote is a Twitch bot that will go into the MLH Twitch chat and identify when a link is posted by either the MLH account or by a moderator, and then automatically save that to our publicly facing Google Sheet here that acts as a database. And the reason we used a Google Sheet is, one, it's free. Two, it means that I can just share this link with people. And hopefully if this gets to a point where it is worth sharing from an MLH perspective, it can be aliased to like links.mlh.io or something like that. That's a bad example. It would be like globalhackweek.mlh.io/links. Anyway, it can then be easily shared, and we don't need to like build out a whole front end. We can add a like front end of like sorting and search based on just existing Google Sheet tools. So that is what this project is. But again, this code is not on GitHub for y'all because it requires both Twitch API credentials and Google API credentials to work. Do we need an API to access MLH Twitch chat? So, yes. But accessing Twitch chat is a very easy thing to do from an API perspective because Twitch chat runs on IRC, which is I hope people still know what IRC is because I think it's really cool. But it's an old like chat standard that is very versatile. So you don't need to like authenticate from like a fancy perspective to get the chat messages. You can basically just say, hey, I'm a user, and Twitch will start sending you the messages. The reason why we have all of the fancy stuff, internet relay chat, I'm old, thank you, Shem, is because we want to be able to pull the stream title as well, which because I have access to the MLH Twitch account, I can pull using the credentials. If not, you would need to pull this with web scraping. But yeah, so we need to install Docker CLI onto our Raspberry Pi, which should be fairly simple. I have this link, I know, that I'm going to drop in chat that is Docker on Raspberry Pi. And also this will basically work for any Linux operating system ever. It is just, I am running a Raspberry Pi and I wanted to make sure there was no like weird like differences or anything like that. But really, we can install Docker with 2 commands. And these are both listed in, oh wait, let me share what this looks like with y'all. This is the resource that I'm looking at. I have it up on my other monitor so I can look at that while we're doing our SSH. But it talks about Docker, all of those things. Again, it talks about like, here are all the cool things that would be nice to have for your Raspberry Pi. But at that point, it starts getting up in price closer to other computers. It's a whole thing. But it is these 2 commands. We're going to curl to get Docker, and then we're going to give permission to our user to run it. So it talks about installing your operating system, doing your system updates, already done that stuff. And then it is just installing Docker, running that command, and then run Docker commands with your current user. And then it gives us a bunch of different steps to test our Docker container. But for now, we just want to run these 2 commands. There is like a cottage industry around Raspberry Pi tips that are literally just Linux, but because Raspberry Pi has like a hobbyist community around it, there are many resources that are designed for complete beginners that I have had a harder time finding for Linux distributions. It's just because I don't know what to Google, to be fair. They are out there. I'm just going to hit enter here. And then it's just going to start doing what it needs to do to install. In hindsight, I should have hit enter on this earlier, so while it was installing, I could answer messages and talk about things, but live and learn. The coffee has been officially finished. Is there anything that someone asked earlier that I haven't talked about yet? Feel free to ask questions or remind me of something that we were talking about in chat, because this is going to take a sec to set up. Thankfully, I have fast internet speed, so it's not going to be the download. It's just going to be the setup and processing on the Raspberry Pi's end. I guess while this is setting up, if no one has any like big questions, I know that there's like a delay, so feel free to drop things in chat. We should start hosting our Docker instance image to Docker Hub so we can get it once this is done. I have not done this before, but I know that it is theoretically fairly simple. I say that sort of thing a lot. Flexing with your new fast internet speed, love to hear it. It is one of the, so I like live in like an apartment building now rather than just like a house, which means that I have like fiber connection, which is wonderful. Okay, I'm signing up for a Docker Hub account, but I'm not showing y'all my passwords. I have done that enough in the past. I already have a Docker Hub account? When did I do that? Wow, that's old. Do they have 5G there and mobile phones and hotspots? No, but I have a Pixel 4a 5G, which is a cheap 5G phone, and I have not actually ever noticed any like benefits to 5G necessarily, but I really don't use my phone for my like big internet tasks, which is I guess a point of privilege that I like have such reliable internet that I'm not usually using my cellular connection. I need to have a, oh God. I need a username, and this is just always, it always sucks trying to create a username. I've taken to using auto-generated ones. So glad that I'm not sharing my screen right now because I just tried to copy my username and just copied the password in plain text. Okay. Oh no, I need to do a CAPTCHA. I always do the audio CAPTCHAs.
To request the things.
Great, okay. I finally signed up for a Docker Hub account. Random tangent, they're bringing extra mobile cell towers to Vermont for the eclipse because cell service is so wonky here. That is a, like, both wonderful and, like, I am so sorry that your cell service is so wonky, and that is a wonderful, like, weird fun fact. Okay. Oh, I need to verify my email address. Okay. This is like all like normal parts of doing anything. It is just so much harder and more awkward on stream because I like, this is not a part that I can like show you. Okay, great. If I refresh this page now, hey, okay, everything's set up. So I'm just going to continue with personal. Okay. I have the desktop application. I'm looking to create a repository. Let me check. Hey! Docker's installed in our Raspberry Pi. I'm creating a repository. Should it be public or private? I'm going to set it public. We'll see if I expose my API keys. Link, stream, aggregator. They apparently do not like Camel or Pascal case. Great. Link, stream, aggregator. Create. Okay, I have a repository. If I go into Docker Desktop and I sign in, oh my goodness. I've just typed my password wrong like 5 times. Oh my goodness. When I get nervous, my typing gets quite whack. And I'm slightly nervous because this is now, like, I am now doing a new thing again. We started the stream with me finishing where we were at yesterday, which is a thing that I like, oh yeah, I understand this now. And now this is not something that I understand. Okay. Signing in. Great. Okay. I am now signed in. So now, theoretically, builds. Deleting my old builds. Okay. Yeah, space to be reclaimed 117 megs. Okay. Okay. I was hoping that there would be a good, easy button to be like, upload this to Docker Cloud. Okay. To push a new tag. Okay. So in our command line, and the tag name is link ag, please. An image does not exist locally with the push refers to a repository. An image does not exist locally with the tag. Image link ag. Okay, so that is the tag. To push new tag. How to upload Docker image to Docker Hub. In Docker Desktop, go to the Images tab. I don't have, but this is a container. In the Actions column, oh, Images. Here we go. Okay, push to Hub. Denied. Requested access to the resources denied. Status in use. Containers. Status in use. Okay. Ah, haha. Okay. So it is saying it is in use because we have a container based on that image. I'm going to delete this. I still have the image. It is now unused. Pranav, I will get to that in a sec. Push to hub. Denied. I'm assuming you're having the same error that I'm having now. Denied, request access to the resources denied. Okay. It is the fact that the repository does not exist. The problem is that yeah, so they started with downloading a Docker image, renaming it, and then pushing it again. How to push existing Docker image to Docker Hub. Mm-hmm. Okay, I understand. I think I understand at least. What is happening here is okay. How to rename Docker image. I don't think it's possible because they're immutable. Okay. So, this is the name, this is the tag. The name of our image needs to match on Docker Hub, wherever that is. Right here, which I created the name as Link Stream Aggregator, which is not the name of the image on our system. So we need to rename it to this. So okay, this seems that's a Raspberry Pi we're looking for. Here we go. Okay. So Docker rename. In this case, we want to rename linkag. Pranav, I'll get to you in a sec. Sorry. I just want to make sure that I am on a point where I understand something before I try helping other people. Put your own oxygen mask on first, so to speak. Linkag. And we want to rename it to the name here. We'll see if this works. Oh. I had two commands back to back without even realizing it. No such container, linkag. Okay. We are literally just going to build this again because I think that is simpler at this point. Docker build -t, and we are going to name it this. And we are going to tag it 0.0.1. Docker build dash. I forgot the path to. There we go. Great. Okay, we are building it again. It has been built. Under images, we have an image. Great. Now if we push to hub. Okay, those names just needed to match. Great. Now, here is the question. If I go on Docker Hub, did I just reveal all of my keys? Yep. I believe it's showing all of my environment variables, including that secret. Great. Okay.
Do Z.
That's a very interesting pronunciation that the text-to-speech just did there. Let's manage this.
Good job.
Can I pull it private? Make private. It's not the biggest deal. Great. Okay. But I was wondering how it would deal with those keys if I uploaded it. But oh, golly. Thanks for the follow, Yevhenlia. Okay. So, we have, for better or for worse, gotten everything uploaded to Docker Hub, and we have Docker installed on our Raspberry Pi. Thank you. Oh, it's 2 I's, not an IL. Sorry, Yevhenia. I totally mispronounced that. We are now... I know I'm saying this just as someone new showed up. We're going to take a 5-minute bio break, give people a chance to stretch, get some water, take care of themselves. Because when we get back, we've done all of our setup. When we get back, we are going to go, and we have our Docker instance here.
To go wild.
Time for TTS to go wild indeed. Y'all have the reins. Thanks for the follows, yes. We now have the ability to pull down to this Raspberry Pi that Docker image that we uploaded. We'll first need to log in because it's a private image, and then run it. And it should carry all of its configuration and all of that stuff with it. So we should just be able to download and run, and it should work. With that, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to put a 5-minute timer up on screen. Great. We will be back in... Oh, wait. Ooh, I'm going to do something. So some of you who've been with my stream for a while will remember this song. But the problem is that this song got removed from Spotify, where I do all of my stream background stuff. So you'll know that like the start of my stream now has different music. It's music by Good Kid, who they've said that they want their music to be used in streams. But this song is still up on YouTube. So I am now going to play a song that is slightly older in... I say slightly older, and like it hasn't been played in like 3 months, so long. But you'll have some different music. With that, I'll see y'all in 5 minutes. Take care of yourselves. We'll be right back.
what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Count what you have.
OMG.
Don't count what you don't have. Find that you have so much. 頑張りすぎる自分に疲れてふと泣けてきた真夜中のバスルームでまだ手にしたことのない幸せがどこかにある気がして焦る
404 not found 19. I found you 20.
楽しく生きてきたの何一つ悔やんでないけど曇った鏡のように明日が見えない Can't you see, can't you see 自由と孤独は二つでセット気ままなほど寂しさもついてくる Don't you know, don't you know 隣の芝生が青く見えたらこの庭に花を植えればいい Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Find that you have so much. ないものネタにしながらみんな迷って生きてる大人になってからも足元に咲いた綺麗な花に気づくだけで人は嬉しい気持ちになれるのにいつか胸の奥に抱えたジレンマの迷路抜ければ本当に大事なもの知る日が来るだろう Can't you see, can't you see どんな道を選んだとしても悩みの数同じだけついてくる You can choose, you can choose 私が決める私のプライオリティ何を取って何を諦めるの Can't you see, can't you see 幸せの基準測るものさし自分の心の中にあるのさ You can find, you can find 足りないもの数えるくらいなら足りてるもの数えてごらんよ Count what you have now. Don't count
MLH
what you
MLH.
don't have. Can't you see? Can't you see? Don't count what you don't have. You can't you have so much. You can find. Can't you see? Can't you see? Don't count what you don't have. You can't you have so
Can't you see MLH MLH TTS? Can't you see MLH MLH TTS? Can't you see MLH MLH TTS? Can't you see MLH MLH?
Oh my goodness, I thought I timed that better. Oh, I don't know how long y'all have been waiting. Hello, welcome back. Let me get...
Awesome comedic timing.
Did I just come back after them? Oh my goodness, I missed a metal pipe.
Welcome, dimmer.
Hello, hello. I usually, when I do this, I set a timer on my watch and I step away. And I thought I still had like another 5 to 10 seconds. Who's the artist and name of the song? That song is... Count What You Have Now. I bet you couldn't guess that. By Vantage. Again, when it was on Spotify, you'll notice like on this page, oh, sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. These pages should have the current song playing on Spotify, but it is a jank tool that doesn't always work. It was working at one point. You'll see it in some streams. I heard it saying, "Can't you see?" I think it says a lot of things. Vantage, I believe, does edits of dialogue from something. It is like a very artistic project where I believe they use audio from anime, I believe. It's so good. It's extremely good. It is an extremely good song. So I think I'll start using that. I'll check to see afterward if this gets flagged by any copyright things. But I think I'll start using that in the breaks. And then I will find another song that matches that similar vibe for the beginning of streams. Because the music that I'm currently doing, while it is music that I jam out to on my own time, it isn't the vibe of the stream. Because they're kind of like, I don't know, angsty indie love songs. Which, while a bop, is not what we're looking for on stream. With that, welcome back, y'all. Hope you took care of yourselves. I had a good stretch, drank some water, walked around a bit. Ooh. I forgot. I don't know if I've ever done this on stream before. I feel so powerful right now. I have the cheapest
standing desk.
I have the cheapest standing sitting desk that exists at IKEA, but it is very useful for times like this, especially. The angles are now slightly different with my camera. Let me adjust that. I want it. It has been so good for my like hyperactive neurodivergent brain to be able to. I don't use it as much as I should, but to be able to stand. And this is such a different energy now. Like, ooh. I can like, I'm standing now. We're hype. Okay. Hi, y'all. Maybe this is something that I'll start doing. After the break, I'll come back standing. Standing desks are the best. Yeah, yes, 100%. It's so useful that the whole like desktop lifted up because for a while I used to like stack boxes on top of my desk, but then it's just like just your laptop and it's a whole thing. Whereas this, I still have all of my. Anyway, this stream is not about standing desks. This stream is about deploying Docker containers. And we have our Docker container uploaded to Docker Hub. And now we just need to pull it onto here. If I do Docker, Docker PS. Let's see. Is this working? Permission denied. Okay. Let's try giving our user when it was coming up, you looked like a Disney villain with the eggles for a sec. That is why I don't, because like there's such an awkward time in between. But it's the break is a perfect time to transition that. Okay, I'm gonna try. Okay, I'm gonna try rebooting it. And we'll just need to wait an undetermined amount of time before we connect again. It is this. We then make sure that Docker is installed successfully. We sign into Docker so that we can get my private repository. And then pull it. Okay. I think we're on a good pace. Oh, while this is rebooting, it's probably rebooted at this point, but I don't know for sure. How to have Docker container run on startup server. Enable the Docker system service. Start containers on boot. Hey, okay, Docker's restart policies. Great, we can look at this in a sec. I'm gonna try connecting. Hey, okay, we're back online. Great, okay. Docker PS. Reboot helped. Okay, great. So we have Docker. Now we want to log in. I don't remember what my randomized username was. Oh no, okay. I can copy the password because I'm SSHing. Let me grab my Docker password. Password managers are wonderful except for in instances like this. Login succeeded. Amazing, okay. Now, we're looking for Docker pull. Manifest not found, manifest unknown. Let's take a look here. Ah. Oh, because it's aha. So you'll notice that it says using default tag latest. That is not what this is tagged. It is tagged 0.0.1. Boom, there we go. Okay, great. Now I should be able to run Docker run. I always need to include that tag. Let's try this again. Come on. Come on. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I believe in you. Let's look at what we've always run before to run. Docker build, Docker push, Docker run, name. Okay, so this is the right thing. The issue is that there's now nothing showing in the command line. I'm going to try dropping a link in chat and see. Or just any message. Hello. Ooh. Something seems wrong here. Gonna try dropping a link in chat. We aren't getting any feedback on our server, which we should, theoretically. When we've run it locally, both outside of Docker and inside of Docker, we've gotten feedback in the command line. But I'm gonna check to see. Yeah, it's not actually updating our server or our database. Okay. Let's take a look at. Okay, so we have an image. Commit. Kill load. Pause. Port rename. Restart. Save. Start. Stop. Tag. Top. Unpause. Oh wait. Run. Execute list containers. So we don't actually have a container. Oh. Wait, so we have an image, but we can't run it because we don't have a container. So would we build? No, because we don't have a Docker file. Let's try running Docker create. Docker create. Ooh, tab autocomplete's not working for this. Link. Oh, it's link stream aggregator. I don't believe that this is correct because before I had autocomplete. But let's see. Yeah, unable to find image locally. Docker images. Docker create. Oh, it's fiction, not friction. Okay. There we go. Docker PS. Docker images. We still only have one image. We don't have any containers. List containers. What does Docker create do? Creates a new container from the specified image without starting it. We have that. PS list containers. Run creates and runs a new container from an image. So Docker run should work with this. Docker run. But we just got nothing. Oh, wait. Whoa, it just worked. Hey, that means that this is running on our server. Which now if we go into our database here, boom, we have stream title, date, timestamp, link running on our server from our Docker image. We didn't actually need to do any configuration on our server itself. It was just as simple as that. Now I'm going to Command C out of this. And I'm going to run this again with a -D detached. So it'll just run in the background. Whoa. -D was not correct. It's awesome how you're always so surprised and happy when it works, as if it's not going to at some point in the build. I mean, I've learned to celebrate the small victories. Okay, running containers, options, or run it as a background process, -D. Okay, Docker PS. We have no containers. Wait, why do we not have any containers? Okay, so that's still working. Oh, I put the -D in the wrong spot. Right? Yeah, Docker run -D image. I put it at the end. Great. Now if I go Docker PS, we can see that we have a container that's running in the background that will just be working. Now, the only thing that we have left to do is to make sure that it runs automatically on startup, which should theoretically be in this documentation. General form, options, background process, commands and arguments. It's sad to see all the happiness ending with a simple -D. So this is why I've learned to celebrate the small things, because so we're going to go on a little like my theory of programming tangent here, where I know that like if this were my like 15th time running Docker, this would be a boop, 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 boop. Okay, great, everything's running. Yay. But because this is my first time, I know that I will consistently be running into hurdles and things will consistently...
Tangent alert! Tangent alert!
An appropriate use of tangent alert. I will be consistently running into hurdles and roadblocks. And that is like what the learning process is. But because that can be a tad bit frustrating, to understate that, it is important for me to celebrate the times when I show that like, hey, I learned things. I understand more now, like things are working. To celebrate that, because I know that like 2 minutes from now, I'm going to have another moment of like, oh, I really need to look more into the documentation because this isn't working the way I thought it would. So celebrating all of those small moments, I think, is really important. I don't know. It's just, it's fun as well. It's cool getting to do these. It's working. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Hey, I'm going to drop the link to the spreadsheet again in chat, because this is just like a publicly accessible spreadsheet that should now be running in the background for the rest of the streams happening this week. And feel free to use that. Hey. That's cool. That's cool to see that working. Tangent alert is happening. Or is working. Happiness. Yes. Yes, that is a thing that I fixed before this stream. I forgot, Shem, you weren't there when I talked about it at the very beginning. I can see it's working. People have it. It's always cool when things work, with Tangent Alert and this project. So now, again, it is just if I lose power, or if I accidentally like unplug this or something, we want it to restart. Commands and arguments, foreground and background, container identification, container networking, file system mounts, volume mounts, bind mounts, exit statuses, runtime constraints on resources. We don't need any of these. It's the only thing running. User memory constraints, kernel memory constraints, swappiness content, CPU share constraint. I read that as content. CPU period constraint, CPU set constraint, CPU quota constraint. Additional groups, runtime privilege. Hey, thanks for the follow, Aditya Bajorgia. It might be Bahoria. Bajoria? Sorry. Thanks for the follow. Does it only get links sent by MLH or by everyone? It only gets links sent by MLH and by mod, so that this can't be abused by random people in chat. Overriding image defaults, environment variables. In hindsight, you would set up your environment variable once you have the image downloaded. User, working directory. Okay, that was not actually useful. Container as a Python application, working on that. Docker, environment variables, set environment variables. Okay. There goes my plan of putting Rick rolls in pizza shops. I thought about this beforehand. It was when we were writing this, I originally said it for everyone. And then my first thought was like, oh, if someone puts a link to like their Twitter or something like that, I don't want that to be saved forever in case they want like the right to be forgotten. But also, it prevents spam. How to have Docker run containers on server start. Start containers automatically. Here we go. Docker provides restart policies to control whether containers start automatically when they exit or when Docker restarts. Restart policies are different from the live restore flag at the Docker D using live restore. Okay. User restart policy. Restart flag when using the Docker run. The restart flag can be into the policy. Don't worry, I can still try to become a coach and send those in. True. That is the solution. Aha, okay. So, okay. We'll need this to do two things. One, we need to know if Docker... No, Docker automatically started when we rebooted the Pi because I was able to do Docker PS and it was just able to tell me if containers were running. So theoretically, we can do -- restart always. Let's do this. Docker stop. Docker stop is apparently not the right command. No, stop. Stop one or more running containers. (1173) AB 3 FF080. Ooh, that's... Hey! Great. Okay, that stopped it. So now we'll go back to our Docker run. And wait, where does this go? Does this go at the front or the end? dash restart always. Dash restart always. Great, we have it running. Now, I'm going to try dropping a link in chat, make sure it works. Link has been posted, MLH stream links. Come on. Come on. Hey, there we go. Okay, so that is updated. Great, so we know it is running right now. Now, sudo reboot. This is the question.
Good job.
Thank you. If I reboot the Pi, which simulates losing power, unplugging it, anything like that, will this automatically start back up again? To my knowledge, it should, but that is not guaranteed. If it works, if this works, we're done. This is the entirety of the project. We have our code running on my own server that is like going to restart again when it closed. It's running, it's working, and it is going to be so much cheaper than running it on a cloud platform. I realized that I could run it on a cloud platform and just start it at the start of Global Hack Week and stop it at the end of Global Hack Week, and I would probably have enough, but that requires me remembering to do that. And as evidenced by how frequently I've left channel point rewards on at the end of my streams, that is not something I am good at. So the idea of this just being able to run in the background is important. Have you finished rebooting? Hey, you have. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Da, da, da. Great. Closed by... Huh, okay. Now here's the question, Docker PS. It's still running. I'm going to copy that link as well and paste that in chat. 404, because that link...
Good job.
Should be saved to here. Yes, and it is, even after the Pi reboots. Our Docker container is now running automatically, no matter what happens to the Pi. Always, when it stops, it'll start again. Oh my goodness. This is actually working. Cool, for lack of a better word. Cool. We have accomplished the goal of the stream with 20 minutes to spare. That happens so rarely on my streams. Well, okay. Yeah, so we have this Google spreadsheet. You'll just need to bookmark this or ask me for it each stream because it has a very unwieldy name. We aren't going to be able to get like an official link to this for a while until it is more official. But it is currently working. This is so good. This is one of the best streams I've had in terms of, like, I've had some streams that are really fun. Insert chicken, for those who know. I've had some streams that I have, like, made really interesting projects or I've taught really well. This is a stream where I go, this is like, this is up there with creating in the channel point rewards, like, dashboard when I, like, suddenly understood how asynchronous functions worked. Those two things, these are the two streams where I've been like, oh, I've just gotten better as a developer, which is like the whole, like, this feeling right here is why I started doing hackathons. And this is the feeling that I love about being a developer of like, oh, I just did something new that works. Perfection or very close to it. Good stream. Good job. Thank you, Shem. Thank you, Shrey. Oh, And the funny thing is again, this isn't like I haven't done anything groundbreaking or new. This is just me taking the time to do something correctly the first time, which I bypassed before because I was like, oh, I know I should use some like platform to do this better, but I can just make it work. This is the first time that I have like taken the time, not the first time, but it is like an example of a growing pattern that I have of taking the time to do it the first time, the industry standard way, and actually reaping the benefits and making better projects because of it. I used to be a huge advocate for jank. I still am. I think that janky projects are good projects. Do what you can with what you know. And also, I have learned that learning is good, for lack of a better word. I am going to quickly adjust something on my microphone. Oh, what? Okay. Oh. Okay, I will need to adjust my microphone settings in the future because they've changed how that works. I can make myself sound slightly better. But for now, Shem, we're going to need to cross-stitch a thing for you that reads a stitch and time saves 9. So we talked about this last time, or I talked about this last time, where for the longest time I didn't understand what that meant. And then I was driving, and while I drive, I unapologetically stim. So I will be saying weird things. One of my like favorites is to say a phrase and then try saying it backwards because my brain is really bad at that. And I like all of a sudden it just like struck me like, oh, this is talking about like sewing, that like if you sew and fix something early, it saves you from needing to do a bunch of work later. And all of a sudden I understood the purpose of the saying. And in this case, yes, it is very applicable. I just like keep glancing over at the Raspberry Pi, just this tiny box in the corner that I can like continue to add things to. Because again, this doesn't take much processing power and I can have more and more containers. And now I just have a personal server that is working, that is like easier to orchestrate. And this is where they're like, this is where Kubernetes, maybe not Kubernetes. There are tools that are designed for orchestrating multiple Docker containers. And usually there are multiple Docker containers for the same project. But this is where there's even more industry stuff that can be used. I just noticed that my like microphone was weird. Again, my like day job outside of this is in production. And I have like picked up so many new things since I last like configured my stream setup. Me understands, also me don't practice it. I mean, yeah, that's such a mood. Like the easiest example is talking about hacking because it is so fun to just like jank things together. That is like the etymology of hackathon, of like the idea of hacking something together. So a hackathon is like where you build something with jank. Okay, this is running. Now I promised that we would get this running on Google Cloud Run, and we have 15 minutes. And I think it's, I think there is, yeah, I'm just going to embrace the hubris. I think I can do it. I think we have 15 minutes and I think I can do it. I need to sign into my Google Cloud platform. And I think we can get this hosted in Google Cloud in the next 15 minutes. Very appropriate 404. But I looked at this and it's very simple. It is extremely simple. You upload the image, you click run. The only problem is the cost. Okay, great. Welcome to, I have logged into Google Cloud. I am at my dashboard and I already have a project that is MLH Stream Link Aggregator. What I'm looking to do now, view all products, is in compute, Kubernetes, VMware Compute Engine, storage, analytics, networking, distributed cloud, serverless, Cloud Run. Create service. From an existing container image. Yes. Container image URL. I'm going to make it public for this. Make public. Okay. I believe this is the URL. Or index registry.docker.io. Manifest digest. Oh no. Again, my hubris. Google Cloud Platform might be the only thing costing more than an education in the US. Oof. I don't think that's true. I think Google Cloud Platform is at least on par with other cloud providers. I generally find it pretty cheap. But this is also me talking from the US region with US dollar like purchasing power. Okay, actually what I'm going to do, we're going to make this private again. And we are going to, yeah, because we have a free tier here. We're looking for artifact registry now. Because that's where we want to upload this. Artifact registry. Oh my god. Oh, I just read that, Shem. That is... Ooh, that is... That's gross. Link stream aggregator. It's Docker. Standard. Region. What is our free region in? US Central 1. Encryption. Create. And I should be able to upload an image to it. Yeah, it's basically enough to live 3 very, very good lives here in India. Yeah, it's obscene. Okay. Setup instructions. Upload a Docker image to artifact registry. Okay, I've enabled artifact registry. I am wasting time to change the music. To be more intense. Okay. Products. Okay, we've done that. Repositories. We've created a repository. Great, we've done that. We've clicked create. Oh no, I don't have the Google Cloud API or command line interface. I have 9 minutes, so I can use the Google Cloud Console. There should be an activate shell button. Activate Cloud Shell. Great. Come on. Okay. Great. Credentials added. No, this is not a good tutorial. Oh, I know what it is though. Oh my goodness. Okay. 7 minutes. I have how I deploy Docker containers for free, which is a video by Fireship, which beyond Fireship, which uses Docker container, artifact registry. Here we go.
Specific region, and then you can copy this link up here, which can be used as a tag on your images so it knows where to upload them. Let's go into the terminal and use the docker tag command to tag our existing image with this namespace.
Docker tag. Link. Oh, goodness. Docker tag. Oh my goodness. Docker, don't do this to me. Docker tag fiction 4325/link -stream -aggregator No, that's the wrong link. 6 minutes. We can do this. Sorry that I'm ignoring you, Twitch chat. Okay, no one said anything. Good. I'm in my repo. I copy this link. Okay. Docker push. Docker push US. Why can I not? Oh, this doesn't autocomplete. Okay, pushing. Okay. Oh no. I don't have authentication because I'm not logged into the Google Cloud CLI because I don't have it on this computer. Oh no, okay. 4 minutes. Oh, I have... So I've tagged it with the registry name. We need the Google Cloud CLI. I knew the hubris was intense by saying I could do this in 15 minutes. Okay, Google Cloud SDK. Oh my goodness, okay. I have both installed. Great, I have that. So the problem is, wait, where do I extract a macOS? Okay, I want to add them to my path. This is going to move into my documents. No, that's stupid. Google Cloud SDK, streaming to my home directory. Great. Now where is it? Google Cloud SDK, new terminal folder. Welcome to the Google Cloud CLI. 3 minutes. No, I don't want to help improve it. Yes, I want to continue. Leave blank to use. Yes. If you are installing another version of Python on my computer, I think it's installing another version of Python. Oh my goodness. I would have sent Metal Pipe, but I'm broke again. Oh my goodness. 1 minute, 30 seconds. You don't want to help improve it? No, I don't want Google to get my analytic data of my horrible, terrible setups. Okay. Installation successful, setting up a virtual environment, installing modules. Come on. This is hilarious. We have 1 minute and 14 seconds. God, my heart is pounding. Oh my goodness, I need to do this more frequently. Okay, it's installed. Great, okay. It should be added to the path, which means that now we can rerun this command. No, wait, we need to authenticate. Oh, 54 seconds. Oh my God, there's no way. There is absolutely zero way. Command not found G-Cloud. Nope, that's it. We would need to restart to add it to the path. This is the average hackathon experience indeed. Well, y'all, okay. We did our best. We got it running successfully. This will be running in the background, but I did not get it running on Google Cloud Run in time. Theoretically, though, add it to the registry, click run, specify some commands in Cloud Run or some configuration settings, and it will work. Thank you all so much for coming. This has been an amazing stream. Let me see what's coming up next. We might not even have a stream after me. We don't. We have an hour gap. I could have gone long and it wouldn't have mattered. Okay. I'm switching back to the String Beats Lo-Fi. Because I can run long.
Just saying.
I'm going to run a poll if I should run long or not. I do want to say, I get paid for a specific amount of time that I am streaming. So I will no longer be like at work. This will basically be me like personally choosing to stream on the MLH. Should I run long on today's stream? Yes. No. Start poll. Wait, why is start poll not working? My poll is not working. Ah, haha. I forgot I logged out and needed to log back into Twitch. Here we go. Okay. Should I run long on today's stream? Yes. No. I guess what it should be is, if I run long, will you still be here? Okay, great. Vote in chat. 1 for yes, 2 for no. If I run long, will you still hang out with me? Type 1 in Twitch chat for yes, 2 in Twitch chat for no. The power is in your hands. Because I am willing to run long. I want to get this working. We have our first vote for yes. This is not fair. I want to run for dinner, but also want it to stay. 404, we have an hour. So if you can be back at any time within that hour, I will commit, I will stay. I don't want anyone to be mad at you for missing dinner. But if you will come back, I just want to know, will people still be here? Okay. I'm going to give it another couple seconds, but it looks like we have at least, what is it now? 4 people. 4 people is enough. Dimmer is greater than dinner. I want to make sure that no one will be mad at you. My stream is not worth ruining your relationships with people in your life. Not a single 2. I assumed as much. I'm going to finish it. We have 5 people who are going to stick around. Hi, y'all. Welcome to, I guess, the after party. The stream after party. There is not another stream happening. I do want to say thank you, Leon. I'm gonna quickly send a Slack message just so that people know what I'm doing. Because I've never done this before. Like, there's nothing on the schedule. Okay, I just let my boss know so that if something happens, I have done my part. With that, I'm gonna go back to screen sharing. So we've tagged our repo.
Once that's done, we can use the Docker push command to upload it to Google Cloud. Now,
You do not have permission. I is back. Hello, 404. Still have 20 people here. Welcome y'all to the After Hours stream. Everything is still exactly the same, except for it's no longer scheduled on the schedule. Ooh, I could do this tomorrow too. Ooh, I don't know if this is smart or not. Okay. I'm looking for the documentation that we're looking at. Oh, I always hate when my windows get chaotic like this. Okay, I'm going to close out of our SSH to our Raspberry Pi. That'll just be running in the background. We don't need that anymore. Oh, I just quit terminal rather than closing it. And I'm also... I need terminal back. Wait, no, I need terminal back in a specific folder. Let me... Documents, streaming, Google Cloud SDK. New terminal folder. Great. Okay. I closed out of Docker desktop, but Docker is still running in the background. Great. Okay. Okay, now this is more manageable. I think you just need to connect your repository and Google Cloud Platform. Maybe this will help. gcloud auth configure Docker. Yes, so that is DX. Thank you. The problem is that I do not have the gcloud. Like, if I run gcloud, gosh, help. Wait, what? It's working now? When I ran it just like a couple minutes ago, when we had our timer going, Oh my goodness. Now it's running. Okay, we'll see how close I was. Oh my goodness. It just wanted to add to the drama. It did. Okay, wait. Okay, that didn't fix things. Let me take a look at the documentation to see if we're skipping anything. Configure. Okay, we've done that. Okay. So I think Google Cloud Platform Artifact Registry. Let's try this command, which actually looks better. Wait, this is print access took. I understand what's happening here. Okay, let's try this command. Nothing better than running random commands. Ahaha! You do not currently have an active account selected. That is exactly why. gcloud auth login. I was not logged in. I had a sinking suspicion. Okay. Now I've logged in. Now, if I rerun this command, RDS helpers registered correctly. Okay. Let me try this again. Okay. Running that magical command from Stack Overflow did not help. Docker PS. Dimmer, you already created the tag pointing to Google Cloud Platform. That theoretically should be this. Actually, I'm going to quit out of Visual Studio Code, and we're just going to be doing this in 2 terminal windows. Okay. Okay. Great, we're in the right folder. Docker PS, Docker images, I'm gonna bump the text size of these up a little bit. Just so y'all can better read what's happening. Great, that looks better. Okay. So this is our Google Cloud. This is our project. Docker images, Docker push, US. The fact that it doesn't autocomplete here is so it's all failing, which is to be expected. But it is not giving us the same error as before. Ah, I currently do not have a project configured. I really hoped that there was a button that you would click upload that could upload your Docker image. Name invalid, missing image name. Yeah, okay. That's why I thought this would take very little time. But gcloud config set project to my project ID, which is MLH Streamlink aggregator. Okay. Cloud Run, Artifact, our quick start. Let's Cloud Run again. We don't need that. Great, okay. Just cleaning up our tabs. Okay. Configure authentication. Let's try this again. Aha! No, it says helper's already registered correctly. Okay, let's try this again. Nope.
One cap. Let's go into the terminal and use the as a tag on, and on Google it's called artifact registry. What you do is create a repository for your images that'll store them in a specific region, and then you can copy this link up here, which can be used as a tag on your images so it knows where to upload them. Let's go into the terminal and use the docker tag command to tag our existing image with this namespace. Once that's done, we can use the docker push command to upload it to Google Cloud. Now, one caveat is
So what was the error that we got last time? Host, project ID, repository image, missing image name. Docker. Turns out the above notation is only specifying hostname, project ID, repository, tag. Hostname, project. Repository. Oh. We don't have an image name. Image name for the Docker / Linux dependency. I believe it is the image name for the image that we want to push, which is ironic because our images are, that is, wait, but that's what we've tagged it as. Image ID. The SSH image name. That is, it's the same one that we used, but we're no longer using SSH because we're no longer using our Raspberry Pi. It's my image that's the problem. Okay. Well, let's clear Docker PS. Docker tag. Wait, no, we want Docker images. Docker tag. U to Docker images. Okay, I now have a third. Docker remove. I'll deal with that in Docker desktop. So now Docker push. Now we have an image name at the end. Tag latest. I just needed to add an image name. Now, if we refresh you, come on, you can do it. Oh, yes! We have a Docker image up here, and this is now private. Bob's your uncle indeed. Bob is my uncle. My uncle is Robert, but he goes by Bob for short. Okay, we have our image, and it is private. So now we can go into Cloud Run, select from artifact registry, link aggregator, boom, select, service name, region. CPU is always allocated. I'm gonna do the math of how many seconds that is. Okay. I have like 3 days for this to run. Minimum number of instances. Container port, blah, blah, memory, CPU, request timeout. Okay, this should be enough. I click create, make sure all fields are. Allow unauthenticated. No, require authentication. Because no one should be accessing this. Great. Deployed. I don't know if it's running or not, because that is the thing. I need to make sure that this doesn't start charging me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the Raspberry Pi. I'll be right back. For what does Bob your uncle mean? Bob's your uncle is American English expression. Oh, in the United Kingdom and Commonwealth countries. Sorry, UK. I thought it was American English because it seems very weird. The meaning is similar to the French expression of voila. An expression of self-satisfaction or pride or delight at the end of a sentence describing an action, a situation, an instruction, a direction, especially when it seems easier or quicker than expected. That's the main thing. So this is, oh no, is not ready and cannot serve traffic. Oh. So here's the thing. Our project is not listening on any ports. Metrics. It's not going to have requests. Because it's meant to just always be running. It is not serving anything from a web perspective. So what I'm going to do, this is going to get deleted just to make sure that I'm not. Actually, edit and deploy. Okay, so we're up on Google Cloud Run. But the problem is that my project is not like a web project. This example is Flask. How to run non-web Python code on Google Cloud Platform Docker. Okay, so it is that Cloud Run is not the right project for this, or product for this, because Cloud Run is designed, okay, we're going to take a look at Google Cloud, and we're going to take a look at products here. We want Compute Engine, because Cloud Run wait. Yeah, it's designed for running. It is serverless. Yeah. It is serverless. Based on when the code is touched to be running. So we want Compute Engine, which is an online virtual machine or a cloud virtual machine, because we want it to always be running. Hey, Mr. Clueless, welcome back. We're running long. I don't know if you were there for that. Technically, my stream should have ended 26 minutes ago, but there was not another stream scheduled, so we're doing this some more. So I'm going to go into my Cloud Run, and I'm going to make sure I get rid of this. Cancel. I'm going to look at my service details here. Select you. We're going to delete LinkAg so that we can make sure that it is not running and billing. Are you starting with cloud deployment? Yes. And it took longer than I had anticipated, as all things do. And we should not be using Cloud Run. Cloud Run is wonderful because it makes it very easy, but our specific instance is not good for Cloud Run because it's not a job that needs to be run every specific number of hours, whenever. And it is not a web application that responds or an API that responds to calls. So Cloud Run has no way of telling how it should be scaled. We just need one instance. So we still have it up on Artifact Registry, but we want to be using Compute Registry or Compute Engine for this. See, and here we have the problem that we had again. Maybe you can do something like DigitalOcean. Yeah, we will need to look into a different cloud provider because theoretically there is a free tier of this. But like we saw, there was a free tier of Cloud Run, but there does not seem to be, we have never been able to get this to work. Linode does not have a free tier. Linode is a perfect application for this. I don't know if Linode's still an MLH sponsor, but it was at one point. Linode is now a commie. Ugh. I like Linode's branding a lot more. But pricing. Yeah, Linode's branding was a lot more fun. But yeah, 1 gigabyte RAM, $5 a month for 25 gigs of storage, good network speeds. This is what you would be running it on. That's what I've said. You could run this for $5 a month if you wanted to run this on the cloud. The problem is just that I'm not looking to spend $5 a month to run this project. So the other option was Oracle. We tried that last time, but that didn't work very well. We couldn't actually get a machine running. DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean recently did something, I don't remember what it was, but it betrayed some open source developers. I think Render supports Docker. I've never heard of Render. I apparently have. I think I looked at the pricing. Okay. Plus compute costs. What are the compute costs? I think this is what we... GitHub Codespace. GitHub Codespace, I believe, is just for editing. This type of application is very difficult to run for free somewhere because it needs to be constantly running, which takes up not a whole lot of processing power, but a lot of processing time. Yeah, Codespace is, I believe, yeah, is your dev environment, so you can write your code in the cloud. Static sites services. These are web services. Yeah, so this is, we've looked at this. You'll notice that I have an account for this. We looked at this. Okay, I've looked at Python Anywhere as well. This is all, these are... So here we're getting back to, this is what I was doing during Cloud Week, where we were trying to host this in the cloud. But Python Anywhere, pricing-wise, does not have a free tier. So again, $5 a month, great, but no free tier. Oh wait, beginner, $0 a month. Yeah, no always on tasks. And we did that here as well, where there was no way to have an always running task in render. Again, this is because I've written this weirdly, that this is a bot that needs to be running in the background rather than something that reacts to user or like front end input. Products, Kubernetes. We're looking for a droplet. What's your pricing? CPU optimized, storage optimized. Okay. Basic. Yep, all paid. Again, very cheap. $4 a month. Virtual CPU. All of the things that you need. Bursty applications. Yeah. All of these things. Incredibly good, but still paid. Hence, deploying this to a Raspberry Pi. I'm switching back to my screen here because we got this to run. We uploaded it to Google Cloud Run. If we had, from a Docker perspective, we did everything right. And if we used that example that Docker did that I linked way, way long ago. Oh, let me turn back on the Raspberry Pi before I forget to make sure that it's working. I turned it off when I was optimistically hoping that Cloud Run would just work so that I could make sure that we weren't uploading things to the database twice. But that's back on. From a Docker perspective, we did everything right. We were able to upload our image. We were able to set it up to run. And if we had used that Flask example that I linked to y'all at the beginning of this, because you couldn't run my code without my API keys, then this would be working perfectly. So we've accomplished our goal, but it is not very satisfying because it doesn't actually run for the purposes that we need. But from a Docker perspective, we did everything right. This is where I now, let me think, I do not have anything else planned for this stream that we have not done yet. I guess they don't offer that in their free tier as they run serverless, which scales accordingly. Yes, that is the whole thing. Everything nowadays is mostly serverless, which scales based on traffic, and that is not how we're working. So you can get a droplet, you can get a nanode, you can get any of these like small virtual machines that'll run automatically and it'll work just fine. Or you can get a small computer and set up your own server. But all of those things, there are no free tiers for those things, understandably so, because they don't scale. They are constantly using resources. So yeah, we would host this for, I would probably go with Linode just because previous MLH
Good
sponsor.
job.
And it would cost $60 a year, which is not a whole lot. But in this case, I already have a Raspberry Pi that's was just sitting in a box. So I might as well set that up as my own personal server. And my power costs will be like cents every month, maybe $1 if I'm unlucky. With that, I'm going to, because I just rebooted the Raspberry Pi, I'm going to make sure that it's working again. So I'm going to drop another link in chat. What do I want that link to be? How to deploy serverless containers for free. That was what we were looking at. I'm going to drop this in chat, and we'll hope that it goes into and onto our sheet here. I'm going to share my screen once I open it again. Hey! And you'll notice it is live again after rebooting the Raspberry Pi. Alibaba Cloud, 1 year free. Interesting. Good to know. We aren't going to mess with that at this point because, again, we don't really have a use to. This is running. We have our project working. I was mainly just trying to show here's how you can do this on the cloud, which we have done. But my Raspberry Pi is honestly the best solution, especially now that it's automatically dealing with reboots and things like that. It's mwah, chef's kiss. Very good. I guess the only thing that could go wrong is I lost internet, but the chances of that happening during Global Hack Week are slim. And if they do, then I wouldn't be able to stream. So I'd have bigger problems than my Streamlink aggregator not working. Again, if MLH wants to use this, then I would set it up on some cloud provider to make sure that it has better reliability. But we have not gotten to point of pitching MLH on this. So far, it has just been a small little project that we're doing on stream. With that, I still have like 23 minutes. Let me double check Slack here to make sure. Oh, I should. Okay, good. It's not pulling up on my shared screen. Just to make sure that no one is going like, hey, what's happening on stream? Okay, great. We're still good. We have 23 minutes before today in Global Hack Week, which I think we are going to use this time to create a basic front end for this. Let me look at our code here to make sure that I'm not going to break it. Spreadsheet ID. "23-minute fireside chat with Dimmer." We could. If y'all have any questions, feel free. This is the perfect time to talk about whatever we want. But I'm going to try. In an ideal world, you can add like search and sort to a Google Sheet, which would make this way more useful. If you're able to use a date picker to find the exact date for the stream that you were looking for, or search by the stream title, because that'll make this more useful. So rather than just being like this huge list, we can clean it up a little bit. But I want to make sure, okay, so we are using sheet 1. So I need to make sure that this stays sheet 1. I guess what I can do, I'm going to rename it to database, and we're going to redeploy this. Okay, we have it renamed to database. And this should now be database. I am uninstalling this. I installed a tool because I know the founder of this startup, or I knew the founder of this startup. We have not talked in a long time, but it is not working. And also, MLH is sponsored by GitHub Copilot, so we use Copilot. Okay, so it's database now. Great. Currently, now what is running on that Pi is broken. Database, rename, front end. Great. Okay, we now have these two things. Now what I can do is Docker images. Great. Docker build. Zero point 0.2. What did I do wrong? Options, path. Oh, there's a -t I need to specify that I'm tagging. There we go. So I'm going to rebuild, and then we're going to redeploy. Great. That's built. Okay, we now have a new image. Docker, push. Great, that's now pushed. And now in our terminal, we can actually close out of that terminal window and that one too, and get a new fresh terminal window going, which we are going to increase the scale of. And we are going to SSH into server at, what is the IP address? Let me grab that. Ooh, I wonder if I can... Raspberry Pi. Use the host name. Ah, okay. No, I cannot. So I need to go into my router and find the IP address. In hindsight, I knew that about Google Cloud Run because that was the reason why it didn't work during Cloud Week. For some reason, I confused in my mind that our configuration problems, because we did eventually get it running in Oracle Cloud, but it was just that it would have cost too much. Am I still streaming to y'all? Yeah, it looks good. I just had a weird internet error on my phone. Trying to get this IP address. Thank you, Shem. I had it before. It's 192.168.1. I think 72. Oh my god, you're... Oh, huh. Yeah, okay, I was right. Great, okay. So we're back into our Raspberry Pi. We have built, we have pushed. We now want to Docker pull. The next version. Great. Okay, I guess now what we're looking to do is how do we change the image that a container is using? How to change the image that a Docker container is using. I love Docker, but it just becomes so bulky and slow. So that's because you have so many different instances. Like, yes, and it can, but if you clean up after yourself, which I'm not doing right now, I should really, it can be okay. The key is that standardization. It is less bulky and slow than a yeah, you'll notice it's taking up a bunch of space. And 1%, 1.13 gigs of RAM. Golly. This is taking up less space though than a virtual machine, which is our alternative. We have no running containers. Images. We can delete you because we aren't using that. Delete you. I'm going to keep 1.0 because that's our known working. This is also why I'm not running this on this computer, because it does take up space. How dare you say that unless I follow the proper precautions and practices, I won't get the intended results? I mean, that is such a mood, though. I needed to be warned about to make sure I'm deleting these by someone who built up a year's worth of hackathon projects. I have 21 of those. Yeah, that's why it slows down. Again, I'm keeping the images that I want, but I'm removing the builds and everything else. Great, okay. So we've pushed, we have pulled on our Raspberry Pi. Now we just need to switch Update Docker image and container to the latest version. Great. We've gotten the latest image. Stop and delete the current container. Okay. Docker stop. BA 3C D 5 3 1 4. There's probably a way to get that better. No, it just says stop container ID. Okay. Great. Docker remove container ID. Docker PS. We have no containers. Great. Docker images. We should have 2 images. Great. Okay. Now Docker run. And we are looking for 0.0.2. And we want to make sure we run it detached, so -d. And -- restart always. Docker PS. It's running. Version 2. Now we just test it again. So I'm going to try adding this link again, and we'll see if this works. There we go. Great. Okay, so now it's working, going to database, and we have a separate sheet called front end. So now what we get to do is we get to have design front end to be a search for our database. So, how to build a dashboard in Google Sheets, because that's what we're looking for. Collect your data. We have done that. We have created a new tab. Oh, these are charts. We don't want charts. Yeah, so this is, you can create cool dashboards. Thought I'm gonna make this an API database and host a website to show this, and then realize that's what you're doing. Yeah, so the goal of this is that we didn't need to create like a big front end, a big database of things like that. We can use the existing infrastructure of Google Sheets because our read-write volume, like we're never reading from this, and our write volume is extremely low. So we can use the existing structure of being able to open a Google Sheet to do this. Okay. You can use import. There has to be a good tutorial for this. Now you're getting to see kind of what my process is prepping for streams. Build your own search box.
And what we're going to be using, believe it or not, is a function called search. So let's type that in. And this is going to return the position of the characters that you type in the text. So if it's the 5th letter, it's going to return a 5. If it doesn't find it though, it's not going to return anything. So we're going to keep that in mind as we work around this. If you want it case sensitive, you have to use the function called find. So just remember that, just swap that out and do everything else the same. That should be fine. So, but when you're doing search, if I type the parentheses, it's going to give me the text and it's giving me a hint. It says, what do you want me to search for? So in this case, let's just type in a string that we know is in there. So I'll start with a quote and I'll type in KULAS. I see that in C3 right now. Oh, and I won't do the case right just to show you. All right, close that off, do a comma, and then it's asking the text to search. So it's asking for a range of where to look. And we'll give it C2 because that's where we want to search, we can only do this one at a time before we put it in conditional formatting. And we hit enter, and it just returns value. It's a value error because it says I can't find anything. But let's drag this down into all of these other cells. And what you'll notice is it returned a 6 for row 3 because that's the only row that has the KULAS. So that's just a way to show you how the search function works. It returns an error if it doesn't find what you type, and it returns a value if you do type something that you're looking for. So let's get rid of this. That was just a little proof of concept, and we're going to build a conditional formatting formula for it. In the conditional formatting, we're going to want to make an input box where you can type, and the conditional formatting rule will look inside that box. So let's just label this. Search box. Not very original. Well, where you type it in, we'll give it a little bit of highlighting just to indicate that it's an input field. And we'll leave this as it is for now, and we'll come over and build our conditional formatting rule. So to make it easier, let's just highlight each entire column. We're going to want to format the entire row, not just the cell in column C, just to make it look nicer. So we'll go A, B, C, D. And if you grab the columns like this from the top, it'll grab the entire column, so all the way down to the bottom. And you would go to Format, Conditional Formatting. I happen to have already clicked that, so if you look on the right-hand side, the window is up here for me, Conditional Formatting Rules. And I'll left-click on Add Another Rule. All right, so the Apply To range is filled out, A1 to D 1003. I really don't need the header. Let's just change that just for have this a little bit more proper. And what we want to do, we want to format the cells if the search function returns something greater than a 0, right?
So I think the first thing that I want to do is do date. So I'm looking at how this person is setting this up. Google Sheets date picker. How to create a date picker. Great. Select the cells. Data validation. I'm absolutely making a website anyways. Yeah, go for it. That's really cool. This data is like publicly accessible for a reason. Though you won't be able to use the Google Sheets API to pull from the database. So that might be an interesting question for you, but I will let you set up your own project. Okay, we now have 6 minutes. Okay. Front end. Title. Filter title. Oh wait, no. We're gonna want that off to the right. So we want title, date, time, link. So title, date, time, link, because that's how our database is structured. So this is where it will be returned. And then we're going to look at filter by title, date, time, link. wget is the way. Thank you. I'm going to look at that. wget. Oh, yeah. That was for you. I thought for a sec that was a Google Sheet command. So in date, okay, I'm going to just make this that yellow. We are looking for format. No, not format. Data validation. Data validation. Add rule. Front end G3. Criteria is valid date. Great. So now if I double click on this, I have a date picker. Amazing. Time. We're going to do the same thing. We have 4 minutes. Data validation. We probably have slightly less than 4 minutes. Data is valid. Add rule. H3 criteria. Looking for a valid time. Ooh, but it does not look like we have a time picker for that. That's fine. We're going to remove that rule. We have like, I'm going to say 2 minutes because I want to make sure we give people time to transition the stream. How to show data between sheets. Google Sheets. No, between pages. Okay, reference data from other sheets. Import range. We do not have enough time for this. We will come back to this for a future stream, but for now, you can always click on database to get the raw data, and we will eventually set up a front end to help search. This is so cool. I would not have thought of using a sheet as a front end. Yeah, my brother at one point set
Awesome
up
stream.
this sort of stuff. I'll ask him how he did it. Because yeah, it was like for like a company that had a big spreadsheet, and he used some like Google scripting language, which you can add to sheets, and some built-in things to add search and different things like that. So yeah, thank you all for sticking around for my extended bonus stream where we set up a Docker instance successfully, deployed it to a Raspberry Pi, made a change, updated, deployed the updated version to Raspberry Pi, deployed it to Google Cloud Run, even though that wasn't really what the project needed, but we deployed it anyway, and we looked at briefly at the end how we can use a Google Sheet as a front end. Thank you all so much for coming, especially to the bonus extra hour that I added at the end. Coming up right after this is Today in Global Hack Week, where they will go over every single thing that is happening today, answer questions, build community. It is the thing that if you're only ever going to attend one stream a day, I would recommend you go to this stream to learn about everything else that's happening, get the resources, that sort of thing, because attending this stream will let you know which other ones that you want to attend. So definitely stick around for that. Until then, I have been Dimmer. Thank you so much for coming. Recording will be up on the YouTube channel after this. And until next time, which will be tomorrow at the same time, thank you all for coming. Happy hacking, and keep it crispy, y'all. Bye.